right, welcome back to the Stay Gold channel, where we talk about movies and shit. Today,
Shit.
we're
That's
going to
the
talk
tagline.
about, movies and shit.
Mhm.
Or is it talk about movies and shit?
Just,
We'll,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
work on that. We'll workshop it. Today, we're going to talk about Doctor Strange in the multiverse. Hang on, let me double check this.
It's
Doctor Strange in
In.
the Multiverse of Madness. There we go. Directed by Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi.
Maybe the only redeeming quality of this movie? I'm not sure. I didn't actually watch it, but these guys did, and they'll tell you a little bit about it.
Well,
There's Raimi elements. There's a few Raimi elements.
let's see if we can. I don't know what your guys' perspectives are yet, but I want to see if we can convince Alex to go see the movie or not. You know, like
by the end of this.
Yeah.
because I don't know what your
Convince
guys'
me.
opinions are. Mine, I think I'm gonna hit all the lowest lows of a review in this movie,
The highest highs?
and some highs, but maybe not the highest highs. So just that's where I'm gonna be. I don't know where you guys are at with your review, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm just gonna say my highest high, and it's Elizabeth Olsen.
Yes.
I think if you're like a huge fan of her, I don't know if you are, Alex, but I would go watch it just for her. But I feel like they did her dirty
really.
in this movie.
I know a lot of people
I don't
are
know.
saying that it betrayed WandaVision. I don't really see it as a full betrayal, as more of like an extension, but I can see what people's arguments are
Yeah.
for that. You know, like,
I had
I
some
feel like
question marks.
I feel like for me, it's more of like I wish she had her own movie.
I mean, this movie was basically her movie.
Exactly, but
It's-
I just didn't enjoy Doctor Strange.
No.
That part,
I get you. Yeah, I feel that.
like I felt
What do you think, Noah? How positive are you on this before we tear it down?
Well, I expected more. I will say that. There were like some really cool moments. I thought they like shoehorned in there with the Illuminati and stuff, and visually, you're going into it. If you've seen the first Doctor Strange, there's going to be some crazy CGI dimension shifting stuff, magic going on. Wanda, obviously, yeah. So I enjoyed it. I do think it like fell flat a little bit. Yeah, it did feel more like it centered on Wanda, which is fine because I think, like you said, Patricia, I think she was the best part about the movie. Her performance, I thought, stood out the most, and like I cared where her character was going more so than I cared where Doctor Strange's character was going. I also saw this with some friends who are like massive Doctor Strange fans. Like the collecting Strange comics and big Doctor Doom fan, and like part of the mystical elements of like Marvel's kind of world. So that sweet, and I saw it in IMAX, so I had a very like sweet experience with this movie.
Is it a full crowd?
But yeah, it was pretty. It was it was a pretty packed theater, but like it almost no energy, like no life. I didn't get a lot of like reaction from the crowd.
When you say like
Which might be telling.
expectations are like betrayed or whatever, I mean, obviously you put out a trailer with Charles Xavier, you've set expectations to a certain position. And I felt the same thing with WandaVision when they brought in Quicksilver.
Yeah.
It's like they want you to have that moment of like, holy fucking shit, but it doesn't mean it. Like and like they're not following through with it. It's like they're trying to trick you at some points, and I know some people would just be like, well, you didn't get the movie you wanted or whatever, but like when you put a trailer out, you're telling people what your movie is like, and when you don't live up to that, you're like, and people in the theater, like some of the moments landed, but they were like confused. I felt like they didn't know where it was going or why it was doing it. Like,
I'm not sure if Marvel's marketing tempered expectations enough for this one.
Did it almost feel like they were riding off the nostalgia high of Spider-Man No Way Home, and they were like, well, we got to reshoot and add some people in there?
I felt more connected to WandaVision in this one personally. I thought, like I said, it's a very much like Wanda and Doctor Strange centric kind of storyline.
That's what I've heard, and I got beef with Wanda. I think her powers are kind of bullshit, but
I guess my biggest like question
so it's kind of like one of those, I can do whatever and I don't have to explain how I can do it, so it just kind of does.
Yeah, I mean, both of these characters are kind of like that.
Yeah,
which is like
Doctor Strange just waves his hands around.
It's like a good idea to put these two characters together. I think it's just like the structure of. I don't know. My biggest issue. Go ahead, because I'm about to go off.
I think that's like what I like struggle to connect to Doctor Strange is and Wanda in a little bit because I don't think like their motivations were so like wholly centered somewhere. Like my biggest question was like, why didn't Wanda, as soon as she figured out like close the hex in Wanda Vision, and like why wouldn't her first thing be like to go to a dimension and find one where Vision is still alive and like just inhabit that instead of like weirdly trying to project herself through lives and like control other dimensions and stuff like that. So that I was like, all right, I don't know if I'm fully convinced on Wanda's motivation.
Yeah.
And we're kind of just being like tugged along with Strange and America Chavez. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of falling through dimensions with them.
Yeah. One kind of thing I wanted to ask the room is like I found myself not really caring. I mean, like you guys said about Doctor Strange, but like, is it Cumberbatch's acting? Or like it's so bland to me. Like the Doctor Strange character is so uninteresting to me, and I don't know why. Because he has the coolest powers. So like, I think it's just in the delivery. It's like something weird about Cumberbatch. I don't know. I like Cumberbatch. I liked him in Power of the Dog, but I don't know.
I think it's just accent. I feel like it's just accent for me. Because like Sherlock, he was amazing.
Right.
But like. I mean, the first Doctor Strange, he was great, but I wasn't like impressed much. You know what I mean?
It's so.
I could be wrong. Obviously,
played that douchebag doctor pretty well in the first one, but this movie didn't deepen him as a character a whole lot.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Nope.
He like pushed the edge into whatever like more of the dark arts and the dark hold. But that really, I don't know, wasn't super.
That first one. I wasn't a fan of the first Doctor Strange, and I don't know if it is like you said Cumberbatch or not, but because there's a shining moment in Infinity War where Marvel peaked and has gone down the sloppy hill since. But I liked him in Infinity War. He was one of my favorite characters in that movie because I mean all my favorite characters were on that the planet with Thanos, so that was like him being in there maybe made me like him more, and it worked out, but. It's like he's trying to be Tony Stark now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you're not good.
You don't have the charisma at
you
all.
don't.
Right?
Nope.
Like,
at all. Yeah.
And everyone's like, Spider-Man's being Tony Stark. No, he's not. He's just using his tech. And
no one.
Doctor Strange is, trying to be Tony Stark with his sarcasm and being a dick. But when Tony Stark's a dick, it's like a lovable dick that you would like to hug. Doctor Strange is like, fuck off, you're a dick. So
yeah.
Well, another problem I had is just with this and most Marvel movies is like it feels like the next episode now. It's not even like a movie you're seeing. It's mostly just like a long form TV show. And and in this episode, you get to see Doctor Strange and Wanda. That's cool because like nothing is. After every Marvel movie I walk out, I'll be like, wow, man, the MCU, man, they're doing something that's never been done before. It's so fucking cool. And then 2 days later, I'm like, man, that movie was so bad. Like, why did I like?
Yeah.
And they're like literally tricking you, I think, at some points because like with this one, they're literally playing the same plays out of the same playbook because like in Iron Man 3, Tony Stark by the end of the movie he decides to like take out his little magnet and find some sort of growth. In this movie, it's Doctor Strange with his watch. He's got his broken watch, and at the end of the movie, he fixes his watch. And like nothing in the movie like tells you why that is like meaningful. It's just like at the end of the movie, you feel like you've experienced a change because a watch has been fixed. Like it's like they're just trying to like manipulate you. Like honestly, because like it works on audience. Like they feel it's like a glazed donut. Like because like you don't you're never like disappointed that you ate a donut. It's a donut, but like you never want like the glaze. It always could be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's a donut.
It's like jelly filled.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I can feel that.
That's how I feel about Marvel movies at this stage. That's why it's like, I know we're supposed to watch this one. It's just to go out of my way and stay up late one night to go after driving home and doing some other bullshit to go to the theater and watch just another pile of gruel that the MCU shit out. You know, I don't know. I mean, I know Sam Raimi. I really enjoy his movies. I mean, he makes some of my favorite horror movies and stuff like that. It's just I know that the studio has their strings on him and are like, all right, you got to do this, man.
Yeah.
So there were some,
he's got to listen. I mean, they're footing the bill, so it's like he can't have his creative. I mean, he could probably put a little of it in there, but it's probably not his vision, you know.
Yeah.
So
like I thought you could tell. I mean, they did the whole spoilers. They did a whole zombie strange thing. That's now harkening to Evil Dead and stuff. You know, and
you can tell that his touches
movements
are there.
that Wanda does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like his horror. A lot of the, if anything, the horror and like kind of that those aspects came through a lot.
Oh yeah.
And Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. Bruce Campbell cameo. Fantastic. Obviously.
I was like, happy about
that. Good. I would say I'm glad that they brought Sam Raimi in because like this is by far the darkest MCU movie that's ever been made. I would say, just in general to watch. Yeah. And I don't think that a different director would have the balls or the power to say that they want to do some of those things.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he was in the seat because they gave him a little bit more like leeway. Just not enough, obviously. But.
Yeah. It did feel more unique. Like, yeah, it's still like a Marvel movie, but at the end of the night, I was like, that felt like more different, I guess. You know what I mean? Just like in tone and just like visually.
Yeah, it was they pushed like that witchy. Like I said, there was like horror elements throughout.
There were
every time Wanda was like interacting with Strange, they were and her like chasing through the tunnel, like literally like
it's like Friday the 13th style.
Yeah.
I mean, I counted a few homages. I had like The Ring, The Grudge. Like she comes out of the gong or whatever, and like Carrie, obviously, she's covered in blood and like demented. And then obviously the Evil Dead. I think he threw a couple of homages in there. But
hell yeah. You guys have almost convinced me.
There were some fun things, but again, like
if there was an MCU movie that you would like, honestly, like this is one would be like it's in the top half of entertaining movies.
Ones.
Yeah,
but it sounds like the writing is pretty shit.
Well,
dude, I mean, they introduced the Illuminati, which is like, I was so happy when that happened because like we got to see.
Yeah, like, gasps, cheers in my theater, and I was one of the people that when spoilers, I'm sure you know, Alex, but Krasinski shows up, like the fan casting, and I was like, woo!
And then he fucking dies, right?
Still surprises,
yeah.
And that
they just fucking kill him.
Wanda comes in and just fucks everyone's shit up.
It's like that's. The theater, like, that's the moment where the theater was like, what the fuck? Like, they were so hyped. You brought the hype up. You're like, we got it. We fucking did it. And then, like, immediately you kill them all to, like, show how meaningless that was. Just to say, like, could happen, you know, maybe in the future we'll do something like that. And here you go. Here's your dog treat. Like,
it's like, oh, welcome to this universe where all these people exist. Wanda nipped that in the bud.
They're the best. They're the most smartest people in the world and shit. And then Wanda comes in and is like, I'm gonna kill all of you.
To be like,
and they're like, no, you're not gonna. And boom,
not smart enough to release Strange and like, you know, maybe do some acts while they can.
Yeah,
that was total terrible fan service. Like,
I was a little disappointed by that.
And it felt
Black
like
Bolt just fucking.
It was cool. Like, it was cool.
Yeah.
You know, they're
like
just going in for the shock factor at this point. You know what I mean? Just to make us feel good a little bit. You know.
Leave the movie. That's what I'm saying with the watch thing. It's like, dude, let's put our sequence. Like, let's tie these sequences together to make a movie, and then at the end we'll be like, we'll fix a watch, and then they're gonna like the movie.
There you go.
It's all come together.
$1 million right there.
It made $187 million. So. I mean, I'm to blame, so I can't really bitch. But.
Yeah.
See, I'm not part of the problem. I can at least attest to that.
True.
You guys are part of the problem here.
Yeah.
You're allowing Marvel to keep brewing up their potions.
Yeah, well, but we're bitching about it on the internet, so it's justified.
But
I guess, like, to just compound on the things that we already know, like, my biggest issue with this movie and Marvel, I think in general, is like you have the biggest budgets the world has ever seen, and there's in the movie The Room, there's like a scene where they're all on the roof and like they just like, because that guy's a fucking lunatic, he's like, let's just green screen it all, we don't need to, we're on a roof, let's green screen it and fake it in post. And that's considered the worst movie of all time. And they do that in this movie. They're on a roof in New York City with blue screen, like green screens, and like it's not as badly executed, obviously, but like the logic is still there as like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, it's just laziness. Like, well, they're just getting too reliant on like coming up with storyboarding some sequences at the early stages of the movie, and then
that revolve around just CGI.
Fully composited sequences that they can just hand off to any other visual effects studio to make their movie for them.
Hand it to the VFX artist and be like,
and they walk out back at the Atlanta studio and they like just put a couple screens up and like get Doctor Strange with America, a couple of different angles here and here, and then like it'll thread together in the sequences. It's they don't even like come up with a movie. It's like, what few sequences can we string together with a loose, like, let's get them out on the set, get them spouting exposition at you, and then let's go into our composited scene and fucking, oh, thank God we didn't like.
It's not the best way to make like compelling film. Like it's you're leaning too heavily on that and like hoping that the story beats are gonna come through that. I get you can like stretch it a certain amount, but like I think you're right. Like Disney and Marvel, they're just shoving it in the machine, you know, like they're just tossing it to the VFX artists and like knowing that they can achieve greatness. You know,
especially after we just watched Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Like where almost
they had probably less budget.
I shifted my rating for that because of watching this movie to 5 stars. I was like, if a movie like this can elicit emotional responses and do and do simple filming techniques and execute this well with its characters and its cinema, like I don't know, take some notes, Disney, because that's all you need.
They
like,
won't.
You can do
they
it.
Have no need to take notes.
No,
they do though. Like it's like when you look back at Iron Man, their flagship fucking success, like almost all that movie is like filmed as a movie. Like it's like they were in a cave on a set. They probably built the set, but they're in a cave. They're in the desert.
Fast cars, got them on the street.
They have physical things. Like it's just like they have gone so far from what they started as, and they think it's okay, but because they've slowly pushed it into like complacency for everyone, the viewer, the writers, the production. I would assume like they all like know how it works now. They don't want to change it. Like, and it's just, you gotta fucking change it, man. I know like you're making $200 million in the weekend, but like this movie, I think is like a hinge point for people caring. Because like I think a lot of people came to see the next step of the MCU with this movie, and you literally just show them that you don't know what way you're walking. Like, I don't know.
I have like an inkling of comic knowledge, so like it very much seems like they're building up to Secret Wars, which is just like basically a comic arc where people from all the universes get pulled into this version of Earth called, it's like Battleground Earth or something, or Battle World or something like that, and
duke it out.
Doom like reigns over it. They all fight. I'm pretty sure they all like duke it out for superiority.
Nice.
I mean, that sounds dope. It's just
that's what I mean. Like it's culminating to that. It's just, how do you really thread like impactful character beats when you've shown us that you just deleted all these characters in this universe and can just go like pick more out of these other universes. It's like a function of the multiverse, but I don't know, you should build around that a little more thoughtfully, because I mean, Everywhere All at Once, you know, perfectly. So
I really wanted to like it. I was really excited to watch it.
I was hyped, dude. I was hyped for this. I thought it was gonna like be one of those movies that was like, oh, this is one of the top. This is up there with like Infinity War and maybe I don't know. I recently watched Civil War again, and that one I thought was one of the better. Yeah, it's a great one of Marvel's like renditions. But this one like didn't fully get all the way there for me, and I don't know why that is. I can't put my finger on it.
Well, we started this with you guys saying, "Oh, let's see if we can convince Alex."
It did not go well.
Suck at that.
And a shitty job. Fuck.
Yeah.
Tried.
I tried. It's the darkest one. You will feel darkness when you watch this. Is that what you want?
And I like the darkness. It's just, I say that, and then we just talked about Ghost in the Shell, and that was all dark, and I hated that. I think I hated that for other reasons. So I guess, anyway. But maybe, I mean, like I said, Sam Raimi, I'll watch it. I don't know if I'll watch it in theaters, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I might. I don't know. It might be, like, I know Sarah, she's pretty uninterested in the MCU at this point, and she didn't even want to go see this one. She was afraid I was wanting to go see it. But then she mentioned a good point. She's like, the only good thing about seeing a Marvel movie is seeing it in theaters because, you know, you get that, I don't know, if any experience, you get that kind of, the energy, you know?
Absolutely.
And it felt like it was coming up with a new energy when, like, No Way Home came. Like, there was this new buzz. But, I mean, I love Spider-Man, so I was a little partial to that. But it felt, like, fresh. And it was like, wow, I haven't been to a Marvel movie and felt this way since Infinity War, you know? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
My theater was pretty boring. No one really cheered. Even when John Krasinski appeared.
What a ham.
My 13-year-old brother was like, The Office. I was like, yeah.
That's Jim.
Yeah.
Good old Jim, but where's Pam? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw John was on the cast list, and I was like, Mr. Fantastic, this could be cool. And then I was watching some guy's review, and he was like, yeah, they just all fucking die. And I was like,
we didn't even really see him like get all stretchy. You know what I mean? He kind of like bounced into frame on one,
like,
and then
came into frame one time stretchy, and
then got turned into little rubber spaghetti.
Yep.
What?
Basically.
Like, why didn't he wrap Wanda up at least? You know, like what?
He didn't even. He literally didn't do anything. Like
nothing.
Yeah.
He just like stood there.
He was just like, I have kids and a wife. I just please, and then.
Yeah, I was like, this is actually just John Krasinski.
Yeah.
It's not even Reed Richards, but yeah. Yeah, and they all die. Like, the only one who puts up a really good fight is that version of Captain Marvel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Captain Britain or whatever.
Oh, yeah, she was... Dude, yeah, that was cool. Peggy Carter coming back.
Haley Atwell.
Yeah, she looks good in the
watch
costume.
the What If. She does.
Captain Britain?
Yeah.
It's an alternate universe, dude.
Yeah. Steve doesn't get
just
the serum.
Across the pond universe is what that is. Captain Britain.
Yeah.
Captain Britain.
Fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I suppose we should close out generic Marvel review number 26 or whatever.
What'd you guys give it?
I think I gave it 3.5. I could move it down. I can move it up. I think
honestly, it doesn't sound like you liked it that much.
Well, that's like.
I mean, I'm not picking on your reviews, but
no. I mean, I guess because that's like my strife is like I walked out of that movie being like pretty good. It's like this is above half, I would say, of the MCU, and then like every day since, it's just like. So I don't know. It's just tough.
Yeah. How about you
decide
guys?
When I watch it for a second time, because I really, the parts I liked a lot, but the parts I hated are like I just like I can't get over it. I guess
like let's close it out with like what was your favorite sequence out of it? Like, because I mean there's like 50 sequences to choose from, but
I know mine.
What's that?
Mine was when they're like I forget what causes it, but it's just Doctor Strange in America like falling through the kind of crashing through the universes, and you're getting that sequence of like shifting through dimensions kind of.
That was cool.
Very kind of almost reminiscent of the first one, but yeah, like moved into like the cartoony comic style.
That was dope as fuck.
There's like liquid and like other things happening, and it's like that was cool.
Like
visually,
dinosaur universe or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and then like people, I think since people saw that cartoon one, they're like, oh, they can do anything now. They can bring in Miles from the Spider-Verse into, you know, and they do their own weird live action mix. Yeah.
Trish, do you have one or just kind of all around?
I actually have two. One's like visually. I really liked when they were fighting with like the music notes. I thought that was like pretty cool.
That was really
I
cool.
was like, damn.
It just feels weird that like it's like get to sequence number 75. Here we go. Now we're in the music sequence. Here we go. But like when they're in it, it's fucking dope as shit. So it's like
exactly. Yeah, and then emotionally, I feel like the part where Wanda was so blinded by her like desire to see her kids again, right? And like the moment she sees her kids being afraid of her, and she was just like, oh shit, I fucked up. And just that moment was just like,
that was a really good one for sure.
That was probably the only time I got semi-emotional, and I cried pretty easily in movies, you know.
Well, that's why it's like Wanda has a journey in this movie, you know. Doctor Strange does what Wanda does, like for sure. I'd say both those, for sure, dope ass sequences. And then another one that stood out to me was the mirror sequence. Happens kind of early, but he like traps Wanda into like a mirror ball or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then she like tries to break out, and it like knives in on her, and then that is just pretty cool. Yeah, well done. So just wanted to end slightly more positive, you know.
That's the thing. I gave this 4 stars, and then I was like, and I think that was like my love, or me wanting to love, and like focusing more on the Raimi bits, and I was like, and I moved it down to 3.5 because as much as I love Raimi and as much as like some of his creativity like comes through, it still just didn't do enough for me.
It wasn't enough.
It's almost like when they got the script and they were reading through it, they're like, this is kind of donkey ass. So let's find somebody who we can put a name on this. And then they're like, everyone likes Raimi. He did a good job with Spider-Man. So I don't. It's like they're like, we need to do this, and Raimi was like, "Yeah, I haven't made a movie in a few years.
How many?
It literally feels like that.
Yeah, right. He's like, "What's the paycheck like?"
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
He was
like,
the second
like that
pick
was
too, so he can negotiate at that point, right?
Yeah,
He's
right.
got some
and he
sway.
was like, that was just the peanut butter on the mousetrap. It felt like. I mean, I haven't seen it, but that's what it feels like to me. That's the only reason I want to go see it. So it's like, they got me there.
It feels like a Marvel exec went to Raimi and like gave him the script, and Raimi was probably like, all right, let's spice this up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it was like he probably was not like, I don't know. I could see him being disappointed with.
I'm just shocked he went back after the fiasco of Spider-Man 3. I mean, and he wanted to make a 4th, and he said, "Fuck you guys," because the studio kept wanting to do shit like this. So. I'm surprised he came back.
Signs were there.
Yeah.
He should have seen it coming. Maybe he liked it though. I don't know.
Yeah. What did you guys think though? Like, there's a vast spectrum for this movie, and I think I'm curious where everybody else falls on it. So let us know. Like and subscribe, guys. We'll be around for another review.
Yeah.
Talk about movies till we die.
That's all I do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get better.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye.